DeAndre Carter seems set to make the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles have finally finished the preseason. Now it's on to defending their Super Bowl championship, starting with the NFL kickoff game against the Atlanta Falcons on September 6. DeAndre Carter is the surprise of the preseason for the Eagles and seemed to lock up a roster spot. Carter had 2 catches for 37 yards in his final preseason game, finishing with 10 catches for 178 yards in the preseason, thanks to injuries to Alshon J, Nelson Agholor, Mack Hollins, Marcus Wheaton, Greg Ward and Kamar Aiken. Carter had his opportunity to shine with regular preseason reps. Leave it to Carter to take advantage. Here's the final 53-man roster projection for the Eagles. The final spots are settled: locks, Wentz, Foles, Sudfeld. There's no changes here, and nor should there be. Sudfeld has had a good preseason. Just look at his 312-yard performance against the Patriots. He's the Eagles' no. 2 quarterback of the future. All signs point toward Carson Wentz starting week 1. Locks: Ajayi, Clement, Sproles, Smallwood. Matt Jones is out. He didn't even see the field for the first 3 quarters in Thursday's preseason finale against the Jets. Smallwood didn't play in the preseason finale, so he's on the roster. Josh Adams struggled behind a backup offensive line, not having many holes as he finished with over 10 carries. Donald Pumphrey had 3 catches for 38 yards, but he didn't play much. He's out. The final decision will be Adams if the Eagles keep 4 or not. Locks: Jeffrey, Hollins, Agholor, Wallace, Gibson. The Eagles are going to go with 6 wide receivers because Alshon J will be out the first 2 games. Carter has proven to be the most reliable with his limited opportunities. DeAndre Carter is the surprise of the preseason for the Eagles and seemed to lock up a roster spot. Carter had 2 catches for 37 yards in his final preseason game, finishing with 10 catches for 178 yards in the preseason. Bottom line, Kamar Aiken has been bad and Marcus Wheaton has been hurt. Carter has passed them. He's on the team. Locks: Ertz, Goddard, Rodgers. Richard Rodgers is out with a leg injury and has been week to week. What do the Eagles do? Do they go to 4 tight ends? Billy Brown didn't do much in his limited reps and Josh Perkins is still out with a head injury. The Eagles may go with Anthony Denham, who knows the system as a 4th tight end until Rodgers is back. Locks: Peters, Johnson, Vita, Mailata. Former NFL offensive lineman Jeff Schwartz noticed the reason behind Vita's struggles, mentioning the terrible form and his technique. Vita had this issue in years past, but this was a whole new level. Vita is taking pass sets like he's never played before. He's way too high and not punching at all. The no punching was an issue last season, but not like this. Garrett isn't doing anything special. He's using Vita's terrible sets to his advantage. Vita has been terrible physically and mentally this preseason. He looked a lot better in the 4th and final preseason game. Locks: Wisniewski, Brooks, Pryor, Ciamalo. Wisniewski and Brooks are the starting guards on this team, no debate on that one. The Eagles like the development Pryor has made over the past 3 months. Ciamalo proved why he deserved to be on this team against the Browns in Week 3, playing well at center and guard. He also played left tackle for a few snaps. All the progress Ciamalo made since week 1 of the preseason paid off. As for Chance Warmack, look for him to be traded. His versatility is why he's on this roster. Locks: Kelsey is coming off an all-pro season in the best year of his career. He's not going anywhere. The Eagles have Stefan Wisniewski and Isaac Ciamalo as their backup centers in case Kelsey goes down, as both linemen that have played the position before at the NFL level. Wisniewski has actually started 77 games at center. Ciamalo will be the backup in 2018. Ciamalo had another high snap in the preseason opener. His roster spot is far from safe. It may be Wisniewski if Ciamalo continues to struggle with high snaps. Locks: Graham, Barnett, Bennett, Long, Sweat. The Eagles deserve to go with 6 defensive ends here. Means has been great this preseason, capping off his hustle with 6 tackles and 3 sacks in the finale. means deserves to be on this team, and will be locks, Cox, nada, Vallejo. For those asking where Tim Jernigan is, he'll begin the season on the active NFI list, as the Eagles will give him time to recover from back surgery. The Eagles have having Vallejo starting at defensive tackle next to Cox, and he has been one of the most impressive players at camp, per Doug Peterson. Nada has had a quiet camp but showed up when he was the No. 3 defensive tackle for the Eagles defense. Elijah Qualls is out. The Eagles really like Bruce Hector, who will be the number 4 tackle. Disclaimer: Nigel Bradham is suspended 1 game. He'll miss the first week, but will be on the 53-man after week 1. Locks: Jerry Grugier Hill, Bradham. Leroy Reynolds, a special teams ace and a quality veteran in the Sam and Will. The Eagles could use a player like Reynolds on this young linebacking core, who took Corey Nelson's spot as a special teams ace. Grugier Hill is a will linebacker, while Nate Jerry will start for Bradham in the season opener. Both linebackers have been impressive this preseason. Locks: Hicks will start at Mike, but the Eagles will go with just one linebacker in the middle for now. They do have options to replace Paul Warrillow and Nate Jerry and Leroy Reynolds, who has played all 3 linebacker positions. Bottom line, Hicks is 100%. Joe Walker has been featured in some first-team looks and has looked good in the preseason and in practice over the past 2 weeks. The Eagles won't keep him around. Locks: Jones, Mills, Darby, Douglas, Bowsby, Maddox. The starting slot cornerback spot is all but settled. It's Jones. Jones was in there with the Eagles' first-team defense, a unit that allowed 3 points to the Browns in their first half of action. He played 22 snaps in the slot, going toe-to-toe against Jarvis Landry for the majority of the night. Landry was targeted 10 times, but had just 3 catches for 23 yards, mainly because of Jones and his elite coverage ability blanketing him. Jones had 7 tackles and 4 stops on the night. Bowsby had a strong start to camp but has faded. Means takes his spot. Locks: Jenkins, McLeod. Graham Jenkins and McLeod are penciled in as the Eagles starters and aren't going anywhere. The Eagles signed Graham and he's already the No. 3 safety, so he's on the 53-man roster. Sullivan has had a strong camp in coverage, which may actually be his ticket toward making the roster. The Eagles know he can hit. He's ahead of Jeremy Reeves at this point, but we'll have to see. Sullivan's injury diagnosis, Maragos, will come down to if he's healthy or not. The Eagles will likely place him on the PUP list to start the season, meaning he'll miss the first 6 weeks. Maragos is on the active PUP list right now and his outlook doesn't look good. Locks: Elliott, Lovato, Johnston. Kicker: Jake Elliott. Punter: Cameron Johnston. Long snapper: Rick Lovato. Johnston was very impressive in the preseason opener. He averaged 45.3 yards per punt onto 6 punts, which didn't include an 81-yard punt that was negated by the helmet rule. Johnston is on this team. He was even better in week 2, averaging 48.7 yards per punt onto 6 punts, net 46.6. Johnson booted a 60-yard punt in week 3, continuing his stranglehold on the job. He was averaging 55.2 yards per punt in the Jets game. Johnston is on this team.